Steve Hensley. First at 4, members of the Kentucky Mountain Caucus held a news conference in Frankfort today saying they have major concerns with the sale of Kentucky Power to Liberty Utilities. WYMT's Dakota Makris is at the state capitol with more.
Eastern Kentucky lawmakers say if the sale of Kentucky Power to Liberty Utilities is finalized, it could cause a big spike in rates for customers who are already seeing higher power bills than they may be used to.
We've saw our electrical rates go up at a big rate over the last few years since the removal of the coal plant.
Representative Chris Fugit says people in his district are seeing power bills of $400 to $500 a month. And leaders are afraid those costs will only continue to climb.
When we heard that AEP was planning to sell their Kentucky Power division, at first that seemed like really good news, but now we've become concerned that the new company has overbid so much beyond what the assets are valued at that we're wondering why.
Lawmakers signed a bipartisan letter Thursday afternoon to the Kentucky Power Public Service Commission asking to either stop the sale or to give customers a break on their bills.
Return 90% of the excess profit back to the ratepayers. So for the average residential customer, that could be as much as $2,000, not in rate decrease, but in rebate.
President for Liberty South Region, David Swain, said the company has heard their concerns and addressed them in a filing made at the Public Service Commission, adding the company wants to work with Eastern Kentucky in lowering electric bills. In Frankfort, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
A hearing at the Public Service Commission begins on Monday. Officials with SOAR and SpaceX have partnered together, launching a pilot project in Bell County. The launch was made possible through a grant with the Kentucky Department for Public Health. 30 homes in the county will receive better broadband with internet provided through Starlink. SOAR Executive Director Colby Hall says homes within a 10-mile radius of Pineville were chosen.
Our most remote residents, our most remote households, the folks that are very hard to reach, that traditional internet service, wired internet service, it's going to be really challenging for providers to reach them, both time and cost.
Hall says this will help those people have better access to services like telehealth. As of now, 1 of the 30 households has its internet set up.
Well, in some spots we've been watching a few scattered showers. Others, it is a beautiful day outside. I remember on my way into work here just a couple hours ago, I thought, man, it is a nice day. Not a ton of clouds, plenty of sunshine, and just warm enough. Not cold, not hot, just right out there this afternoon, at least in my opinion. Mid-50s out there right now, high knob camera, maybe a little low for some out there. UVA-wise, just a few scattered clouds this afternoon. We're in pretty good shape. Mountain Parkway at Slade. Again, fair weather clouds, but plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Not necessarily a change from yesterday, but we're a lot cooler than yesterday. Prestonsburg this time was pushing 80. They're now at 60, and upper 50s, low 60s around the region. That's a comfortable late March day, at least in my humble opinion. Winds out there still on the breezy side. We are sustained right now, 10 to 15 miles per hour in many spots. Unlike normal, we're actually getting the cooler air in from the south and west, and so far so good when it comes to a few of those showers. Those have been confined up into central Kentucky this afternoon, and many of that may not even be reaching the ground. We take a wide look at the deep south, and things are a-okay. That storm system is well on off to our east, but you'll notice, that's a low pressure spin over portions of Iowa and Missouri. And that's kind of headed in our direction with a few more showers possible as we head over the next 24 to 48 hours. So keep that WYMT weather app handy. We are mostly dry through tonight, but can't rule out more showers as that weak disturbance pushes through. I'll have the very latest coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Today's hearing for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson follows 2 days of confrontational Senate questioning that ended Wednesday night. Testimony today features expert witnesses called by both parties to testify about the judge's worthiness to sit on the Supreme Court. CBS's Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
Similar materials, and with that, the Senate Judiciary Committee stands adjourned.
The Senate wrapped up 4 days of Supreme Court confirmation hearings for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Thursday's panel featured witnesses chosen by the two parties advocating for.
The question we kept asking ourselves, how does one human being do so much, so extraordinarily well?
And against Judge Jackson.
Judge Jackson's now infamous law review article gives me no assurance that she would give voice to the voiceless victims of sex crimes.
10 Republicans on the Judiciary Committee sent a letter to Chairman Dick Durbin asking him to halt the hearings until they got access to confidential probation reports Judge Jackson used in sentencing child sex offenders.
Some of us have wanted those pre-sentencing memos. Are we going to be able to have access to those memos? I know we sent a letter to you.
This is very confidential, sensitive information, which is usually only seen by a judge. I'm sorry, Senator, I'm not going to be party to that. I would not want that on my conscience, that we did this for some political exercise here, which I think is totally unnecessary, and someone was harmed as a result of it. I'm going to resist it every step of the way.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is expected to vote on Judge Jackson's nomination on April 4th, but 4 days of often contentious hearings has done very little to sway the vote for senators on either side of the aisle. Republican Senator Thom Tillis, who is not likely to vote for Judge Jackson, conceded that she is qualified to sit on the Supreme Court.
I find it hard to believe that anybody on my side of the aisle would disagree with that. So this has more to do with the application of philosophy.
Meanwhile, Judge Jackson resumed face-to-face meetings with senators on Capitol Hill. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
If the Senate Judiciary Committee recommends, as expected, to move forward with Judge Jackson's nomination, then the full Senate is expected to vote on her confirmation sometime before Easter. Pfizer voluntarily recalled 3 blood pressure medications this week due to a concern over an organic compound that's found in them, which could pose a cancer risk over time. So if you're on the medications, what do you do now? Experts say the first thing to do is call your pharmacist and check if your particular medicine is actually included in the recall. Dr. Laxmi Mehta, a cardiologist at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, says if it is, talk to your doctor about alternatives, but do not stop taking your medication.
Because untreated high blood pressure has its own ramifications, including heart attack, strokes, and heart failure.
While you should not delay a call to your pharmacy, Mehta says this is not cause for immediate concern. A new study found taking aspirin during the first day of hospitalization with COVID-19 may reduce the risk of in-hospital death and pulmonary embolism. The study, published in the medical journal JAMA Network Open, looked at data from more than 112,000 COVID patients hospitalized with moderate symptoms from January 2020 to September 2021. Patients given aspirin on their first day in the hospital were nearly 14% less likely to die in the hospital and nearly 30% less likely to suffer a pulmonary embolism. You could be flying maskless soon if one group of airlines has its way. They want to get rid of mask mandates on flights and test requirements for international travel. Some European countries are starting to do that. The federal transportation mask mandate ends April 18th, barring another extension. The White House says it's consulting the CDC about lifting it earlier. The agency reports cases are trending down, but also warns the new subvariant of Omicron is more transmissible than its predecessor. At the beginning of the pandemic, many people who found themselves working from home got a pet. Now, as more people return to the office, those who added a new puppy to their family are having trouble finding people to look after them while they're gone. In many parts of the country, dog walkers and pet sitters are in short supply, especially since for many of these dogs, being left alone is not an option after being raised through long periods of their owners staying home.
Our elderly dog didn't require daycare because she was comfortable being at home by herself, and this one just is, you know, an anxious little rescue puppy who just genuinely doesn't tolerate being left home by herself, so we needed to figure out something to do with her during the day.
If you haven't already, experts say the time to start training your dogs to be alone for longer periods of time is now. You can start with leaving your animal even for a few minutes a day and gradually lengthening the time they are alone so they know you'll always come home. 2021 was a big year for bonuses, on Wall Street anyway. The average Wall Street bonus hit a record high of $257,500, up 20% from 2020. The bonus estimates came out yesterday, and record high bonuses are being attributed to Wall Street's high profits. But officials warn the uneven economic recovery from the pandemic and international turmoil could drive this year's bonuses lower. Staying on Wall Street on this Thursday, the Dow closes up today more than 349 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. So straight ahead here on First at 4, a new development in the world of medicine as men may soon have a birth control pill of their own.
And we're not done with the shower chances just yet. We've got the latest on how long those can stick around coming up next.